But Mark, now let's move on into our next topic. We're going from NFC to AFC, and this one, let's be honest, this topic that we have here isn't the sexiest topic of the podcast because it's kind of like this video could end with, hey, Mark, how is the Julian Edelman injury going to affect the Patriots? Not that much. Good night, everybody. That's really what it could be like, but really we're going to look into this because I think that the Julian Edelman injury will affect the Patriots more so than people think. And the reason why I say that is Tom Brady has a comfiarity, but that's not the word.
That's not a word.
He's very comfortable is what I'm trying to say with Julian Edelman. See, I try to say fancy words.
Comfortability.
That's what I'm looking for. Comfortability with Julian Edelman. He's no longer there. So the wide receivers that we're looking at, Brandon Cooks now becomes your number one. You can either move either Mitchell or Hogan up into that second starting slot. You still have Danny Amendola. They still have guys like KJ May and Matthew Slater, and I'm not going to name all the wide receivers. Mainly Cooks, Mitchell, and Hogan with Amendola are the main four you got to worry about. Then they also have Gronk. They have Gronk and Dwayne Allen, and I know some people were kind of harping on Dwayne Allen when I brought him up during the Patriots preview, but he's a solid backup for this Patriot team. So they have the receiving corps. So you might sit there like, Ricky, why do you think this is going to end up affecting the Patriots more so than we think? Number one, Brandon Cooks. The big thing that it's going to take early on, and I know that these two are both professionals, and it probably won't be the hardest thing, but it's going to take a while for Tom Brady to learn Cook's tendencies and vice versa, for them to gel together when we get into actual football games. Also, it's going to take Malcolm Mitchell, I think, could be the number two with Hogan as the number three. But this team, number two, this is point number two, has injury concerns as well. Danny Amendola is a guy who has faced injuries in the past. He's one that I'm always circling for a possible injury candidate. And also, I mean, I hope not because he's on my fantasy team. When I saw the headline on ESPN, is Gronk set for a monster season? I'm like, please let that be true because my fantasy team direly needs it. But there's a part of me that's like, hey, you know what? Gronk could go down with an injury, which would just be more on top of what this is. And like, I feel like a Gronk injury with Edelman being on the field would hurt less. Like, it's like, okay, Gronk's not there. We have Edelman. Now that Edelman's gone, Gronk is like, oh, like his injury possibility to me is higher than an Edelman, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gronkowski hasn't played a full season since 2011.
Yep.
And that's just kind of sad.
4 more years, we got a decade.
Yeah. And that's if his body even lasts that long. To me, the simple answer to the question is I don't think this affects anything in any way, shape, or form. One, you got Tom Brady, who is known for turning little guys into big guys. Look at Hogan. I mean, who was he before
the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Really?
And that's just kind of the way the Patriots are. You got these little guys who no one's ever heard of, and they become stars out of nowhere. Cooks, obviously, we know who he is. That was a big deal. That was a big addition to the team. Amendola being a very solid weapon. Gronkowski being who Gronkowski is. I don't think this really does anything. I still would expect that the New England Patriots are going to win a shit ton of games. They're still going to probably be the number one seed in the AFC. I really don't think anything is changing that much.
No, and like for me, the thing that I look at the most is like I've read a couple articles, and most of them bring up the 2007 season, which was obviously the Super Bowl year for the Patriots. Because let's be honest, coming into this year, everybody like I had them 15-1 in our official predictions. I think even after the Julian Edelman, I'm still standing strong. I'll say 15-1, maybe 14-2. I'll give you one extra loss without Edelman, but I'm still standing strong at 15-1. I still have them as my Super Bowl runner-up and being in the Super Bowl this year, but a lot of people are comparing them to the 2007 season coming in, which that was the ultimate season. You also had Randy Moss in probably his best year outside of Minnesota with the New England Patriots that year. And I mean, part of me is like, yeah, I could have saw that season. The Edelman injury, though, kind of staunches it a little bit. Not staunches, because like I said, my prediction still stands, and they're still Super Bowl. So you're probably saying, well, Ricky, how does it provide that, like, where it's not as good as before? That's because they're not going to have that number one weapon out there. And to me, the biggest person, the biggest team that is like probably going, yes, is the Oakland Raiders. Because to me, they are the only competition the Patriots have in the AFC. And I know, like you said, Tom Brady and the Patriots, they make little guys out of nothing. Malcolm Mitchell or Chris Hogan could be put into that second slot, start week one, and we forget who Edelman is. That's not going to happen. That was a joke, but you get my point.
I mean, honestly,
they
though, that kind of does. I mean, who's really talking about Wes Welker and how great he was?
Exactly.
When Amendola, Edelman come in here and they can do the job just fine.
And I mean, that's another thing that you look into. Like Wes Welker, he was kind of forgotten about after. I mean, he went to the Broncos, but his was mostly concussion oriented as well. But like what you said, someone can next man up can be totally true for this Patriot team, but if they can't, that little percent that they're not the exact same production-wise as Julian Edelman, I look at the Oakland Raiders, and the thing that I look at them, they've got Cooper on one side, they've got Crabtree on the other side, they've got their quarterback in Derek Carr, and I'll be honest, when I look at the Oakland Raider running back situation with beast mode behind the line and Marshawn Lynch, now without Edelman, I look at it and I go, okay, maybe the Raiders could be my favorite in that tuck rule game, and that would hurt my Super Bowl prediction because now without that production from Julian Edelman, if it's not there, the run game now becomes more magnified, and really, who are you going to give the edge to? Dion Lewis and Rex Burkhead or beast mode? I'm going to go beast mode right now. But, of course, we haven't seen
with
beast
a year
mode
off, yeah,
because he's had a year off and he originally retired and then got traded.
Yeah, and there was injuries before that as well. But, you know, to me, I look at the Patriots, and it's the team that had one of the better defenses last year. They scored more points than almost anybody. This rushing game, which I know is different, was one of the top running games in the NFL. Passing game was one of the top passing games in the NFL. And, yes, Edelman is no longer a part of it. But Cooks is a huge addition. It wasn't that many months ago that we were talking about how the addition of Cooks is going to change everything, and all of a sudden we can just give him the Lombardi Trophy and just call it quits for this year because we all know the way it's going to end. So yeah, I just people want to knock the Patriots down anytime they can get, and I totally get it because they're too good of a team, and we're all sick of seeing them win unless you're a Patriots fan, but. This is not the Patriots killer. This is not the thing that is going to end them.
The thing that it's going to hurt the most, and I haven't brought it up yet, maybe some Patriot fans in the comment section have at this point, but guys, I've said it, is the biggest part this is going to hurt. And I know we talked about the weapons. They still got Cooks. They still got Amendola, Mitchell, Hogan. But Edelman was the guy for Tom Brady. He was basically his security blanket. You brought up
He'll find another one. He'll be fine.
You brought up Wes Welker, and that's a perfect comparison. Julian Edelman was the guy to where if something breaks down, I know where he is. He's the guy that we need a key first down, I'm going to Julian Edelman. We need to keep the drive going, I'm going to Julian Edelman, even if Julian Edelman has a
But part
concussion.
of the thing to think about, and not that Gronkowski's, I'm declaring he's going to be healthy all year,
yeah.
But a big help to that is that Gronkowski wasn't there. He only played 8 games.
Yeah.
So that's a huge...
So you had to lean on Edelman more.
Yeah, if you have him there, if you're going to throw it to to Allen Moore, you'll be fine. I mean, he's going to find his safety blanket.
I'll ask you this. Who in your mind has a bigger and better chance to be Tom Brady's security blanket or safety blanket this year? Cooks or Gronk?
Gronk, if he's healthy. Because he's going to be...
Is it just because he's the bigger target and they have a connection?
Yeah, it's the mismatch. I mean, you can't cover Gronkowski when he's out there. You just can't do it. He's too much of a monster out there. You're going to get those mismatches. It's going to help out, and he's going to be the guy who breaks tackles and, gets great yards after the catch. He'll be doing fine. And I think they're going to do different things with Cooks. He's not a guy who becomes a safety blanket. Maybe he becomes the guy when Tom Brady isn't this kind of quarterback, but you just say, triple coverage, fuck it, I'm going for it anyways. That's what Cooks can be to some other quarterbacks, but not Tom Brady.
No, and Tom Brady's definitely not the gunslinger like, that's a tight pinhole.
Fuck it, I'm
going
going
to try
deep.
it anyways.
Yeah.
He's
not unleashing the dragon.
He's not basically the comparison I'm going with. He's not Brett Favre, where Brett Favre had the arm strength where it's like, fuck it, I can fit it in there and just throw it in there. Tom Brady is more calculated, more going which way and that way. But the thing I want to ask you is, because both of us had the Patriots in the AFC title game.
Yeah.
I had them going to the Super Bowl.
I did not.
You did not. In the end, does this change anything either about your win-loss about the Patriots or about their standing when we get to the playoffs?
No, this doesn't change a thing because we knew about Edelman when we made these predictions. No, we didn't.
We did.
That happened after. Maybe they could lose one more game, like you said. But I really don't think this changes much of anything.
So it's still the juggernaut just going straight forward?
They're the Patriots. They're the Patriots who are supercharged this year. They pump the roids right into their, patriotic arms, and they're ready to go. I said that it felt like a last ride for Tom Brady because they're just getting all the boys in, and everybody's here, and we're ready to go for one last one to really impress everybody with Tom Brady. 16 full games.
So now next year is going to be the last ride because he's got to have Edelman for the last ride.
Why does he have to have Edelman? You would have thought he would have had to have Wes Welker. You would have thought that maybe you'd have to resurrect Randy Moss.
We're going to bring Randy back. We're going to bring Wes back. We're going to bring Deion Branch is coming back for another round.
Yeah,
old Super Bowl hero for the Patriots.
So I don't think it matters. Tom Brady doesn't care who's out in the field as long as he gets to throw the ball to somebody who's going to win some games. I don't even know if he sees who's out there. I just think it's just
names.
I just think it's a bunch of bodies that he just goes, that one. All right, so that one.
And I know that Boston fans will hate this, but they're basically like Yankee jerseys out there. He doesn't see the names on the back. He just throws it to a white-colored or a blue-colored jersey.
Doesn't care.
Does not care. But this is where I want to turn it on to you guys because really we've said enough that we could on the Julian Edelman injury for the Patriots. But I want you guys to let us know what you guys think down below, especially Patriots fans. What does this mean for the Patriots going forward in your eyes? Does this make them vulnerable? Does this kind of put a damper on the season a little bit? Or is this just the same juggernaut team that we have had such high expectations for this preseason still going into 2017? Let us know down below in the comment section.